Well, hello, fellow traveler. Tonight we are going to drop in for a Quest wildcard read, but we're going to look at it through the lens of a particular character who has been coming in recently. Good old Chaos Mom here. And we're going to see, what does this particular character have invested in the current storyline? Now, you may relate to the archetype of Chaos Mom. And if so, this could give a lay of the land for you. Or you may be dealing with a Chaos Mom, or this could be somebody that's about to come onto your road as you head on toward the Stone of Destiny. And so I thought we'd really get into the heart of this, dive in deep, and figure out, who is Chaos Mom? What makes her tick? What is she up to? And what is she working with here? Because it does look like she's creating a stir, and she looks like she's a little bit difficult to handle, okay? But usually the best ones are. So let's see what's going on with Chaos Mom. We're going to dive in with the ARCANE BS, but I certainly have my trusty Shadow Light Cartomancy deck to really get a full picture of what makes Chaos Mom tick. What is she all about? And see where you fit in this storyline. Are you Chaos Mom, or are you dealing with Chaos Mom? This can help you understand the territory you're trying to navigate here, okay? So we're going to start with getting a general overarching theme view of what is Chaos Mom's quest? What is her mission? What is she up to? I'm hearing she won't be put into submission. She knows what she's working with and how to use it, and she's biding her time. She is tired of being kept in neat, tidy lines. She's ready to step over a line. She's ready to call some stuff out. She's not afraid to raise her voice if she needs to. She's been holding a part of herself back. It's more about her waiting for the right moment to act. I do feel like she is on the prowl. She's monitoring something that's been going down on the ether. And she does hold a very potent kind of magic here. She knows how to work with chaos quite masterfully. She knows how to be the chaos. She knows how to embody the spirit of chaos without getting caught up in the force of it. It's more that she uses it for its creative power of potentiality. Ooh, and she is ripe. She is ripe with this power that she holds right now. So let's see what's coming in here for this quest for Chaos Mom. What's she working with right now? What is her objective? What is her design? And what's going on with her here? Oh, well, she's got a particular feral nerd, either shaking in his boots or a little bit turned on, maybe a bit of both here with wet pants, okay? I think that the feral nerd has dealt with Chaos Mom before. He actually got himself in a bit of a jam dealing with Chaos Mom. And, you know, he's still smarting from the last time they tangled there. He did lose a little bit more than he was anticipating in his tussle with Chaos Mom. He might feel nervous, but, you know, he's more turned on than nervous about heading into this territory. And so he knows, I can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I got to be all in when it comes to Chaos Mom. And so I also feel this is a little bit of the hunt energy of Caradwin. Maybe the feral nerd got access to something of Chaos Mom's that he wasn't supposed to get access to. And because of that, she's been hot on his tail ever since, wants to hold him accountable. I feel like there's already been this sort of chase down the rabbit hole. And there is a sense of fear here that comes up with the feral nerd. And yet the feral nerd's getting a handle on their fear because they are a bit turned on by what's going on here with Chaos Mom. They recognize that they're in the deep end. Okay, this is just the baseline energy on the split there. Let's get down to the bare bones basics. What is the foundation of this matter when we're looking at the quest of Chaos Mom? It feels like she's a bit playing sort of a Caradwin kind of role, maybe putting a particular feral nerd through the paces maybe sparking their transformation, just a byproduct of this feral nerd kind of, you know, snooping around in her territory. Kind of accidental that he got caught up in her centrifugal force, but now that he's swept up in that force, he's along for the ride. Ooh, yes. And it's really taking him to a different kind of state of elevation. This is a little bit of walking through an illusory hall of mirrors. There's a lot of lines blurred in this situation. Chaos Mom may work with glamour. She may cast glamour. She may work with the power of illusion. She may work with the power of confusion. She may work with a bit of that trickster medicine, but it's actually to reflect something to the other. I feel like this is almost a process where it's being mentored by a counterbalancing force. What could be seen as the opposition is actually the very source of providing some kind of elevation, shattering mirrors of illusion, getting beyond certain perspectives, dismantling the BS, breaking down the boxes. And I think this is something that's been going on for quite some time. And as I say this, there is a spider crawling here. So see, the Chaos Mom has some design here. You know, she is at that web of life and she's weaving a particular thread through this storyline. What's real? What's fantasy? Does it really matter when you look at this kind of territory of venturing into surreality, where it's just a field of potentiality, something that can get rooted in the mundane. But in order to be able to hold this kind of power and pull something through that chaos, you first have to experience the disillusionment of the enemy without. It's not really the enemy without, it's the enemy within. And I think there's something that Chaos Mom is reflecting back to this feral nerd that has them looking at things in a different way. I feel there's been an elevation in perspective here as Chaos Mom has been wielding this glamour. There's been a lot of illusions that have been shattered for the feral nerd, and it's provided a different sort of perspective, a sense of elevation. They're seeing things differently. There's also a building of power that's happening here. But in this hall of mirrors, see, it looks like you're going one way, right? But you're already kind of there at the top. It all depends on your perspective. You can look at this as an aerial view. And I feel like this is sort of the energy of Chaos Mom. She already has this view. She already has a complete lay of the land. And currently, to me, this feels like a mocked up reality. It does. It feels like a bit of glamour here. And the Chaos Mom is the architect of this design, but it's not anything that is meant necessarily to create any kind of harm. It doesn't feel like that. It's actually more almost territory that has to be navigated to gain access to what she holds, to the mystery she holds. So it could be even a way that Chaos Mom kind of puts the feral nerd through the paces. You know, are you able to shatter those mirrors of illusion? Are you able to show up real as you are? Well, if you want to gain access to the gifts I offer, you have to make it through this territory. And only when you share this perspective with me, where you're not in this process of battling it out with the other and facing off with the reflection in the mirror, will it be clear to you and you'll be able to hit it on the mark. Interesting. Doors of perception, doors of perception. Chaos Mom may be a bit of a psychonaut. She may be a bit of a psychonaut, but she may not need to partake in any kind of psychedelics in order to access that kind of consciousness, much like the characters that come out of India, you know, these different sadhus, you know, these people who are in deep states of spiritual practice, the agoris, you know, people who have looked at death in the face and laughed, you know, found exaltation there, who have danced upon the ashes of a dying world. You know, they have a different experience when they imbibe a bit of these psychedelics that normally take others far out there, man, sometimes so far out there they don't come back. So there could be something about Chaos Mom here where she may have had a rough road in life. She may have dealt with tragedy. In dealing with tragedy, she had to strengthen herself. She had to elevate her consciousness so she could rise above her own hall of mirrors. She had to shatter false reflections. There may have been even a period in Chaos Mom's life where she went through some kind of ego death, right? She may have gone through some ego death. They may already be acquainted, the feral nerd. There may be a history there. There may be this reason that there's sort of this hall of mirrors, this illusory territory to move through, almost like some kind of psychic loop that the feral nerd is still traveling through, almost like the feral nerd is making their way through the dark wood. But the reality is the clearing's already here. You just can't see it yet. Has to shatter the mirrors of illusion and break through the confusion to get to the other side. Interesting. All right, buckle up. We're going for a ride. Let's see what the nemesis is as far as Chaos Mom sees it. It looks to me like illusion is the nemesis. You know, illusion is what creates confusion around the power that she holds. And with that kind of, you know, it was hesitant to come out, and it's coming out as a blocking energy. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. She very much works with this sort of dichotomous energy where it looks like it's death, but it's actually rebirth. It looks like it's heading south, but it's actually what aligns you to the north. And see, there's that soma she's tapped into. She has this kind of psychedelic sight. It reminds me of when Ram Dass was in India and he like dosed out Meher Baba, and Meher Baba was just like, you know, whatever, meditation's better. It's this kind of energy. There's something about her that kind of defies logic, but all of her insight, all of her empowerment, everything that keeps her in this state of equilibrium, because she's really coming in with this ability to be both in the water, but have her feet on terra firma. You know, she knows how to navigate that psychic territory, but at the same time, she's very much grounded in it. And she gets a lot of mana from the earth. This could be somebody who's really connected to nature. This could be somebody who's considered like a tree hugger, or they just really like to spend a lot of time out in the elements. That's when they get charged back up. If they ever feel depleted, if they ever take a hit, and they need to get, you know, a little power up, that's how they get it. They connect with the elements here. And also they get a lot of visionary experiences when they are in nature. That's when they get this sort of view that's beyond the veil. They can peer through what seems ordinary, and they can spot the extraordinary, and they can extract a little bit of that. Powers them up. But this is a person that may seem like they're a little behind the times on the surface. Like there's something about this person that almost seems retrograde. That's how it's coming through, like retrograde. She may go back to move forward. She may work with time in that way. There may be sort of like an outdated perspective that's preventing the feral nerd from getting the memo. And yet I feel like there is something potent about the connection there. There's transmutation that comes through. There's rebirth that comes through for two. And whatever comes through this process is also the very thing that aligns with the North Node. So something quite purposeful is happening here, even though that may not be recognized initially. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so what is the antithesis of Chaos Mom? What does Chaos Mom consider the opponent or the nemesis? Well, not being all in, not diving all the way in. She doesn't dig hesitancy. She doesn't dig timidity. She doesn't dig those who hesitate, you know, who have fear of really being all in with an experience. There's something about that. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the Chaos Mom. You have to be all in, or you can't access the full potential of what she has to offer. So I feel like that's what's held back a certain alliance in this situation. And in that way, she views the flying man as kind of a hindrance, like, you're holding me up, you know? 1 minute you're in, 1 minute you're out. You can't seem to figure it out. And all I know is I don't have time for this, because the time is now and all the potential's here. And you're just kind of mucking things up. So yeah, it really does kind of like have those same vibes as Caradwin and Gwian. Gwian, who later, you know, went through a transformation, actually went through a rebirthing process through Caradwin and did end up as the great bard Taliesin, but not until, you know, he got thrown into that ocean and transformed. And so I think this is what's happening right now. I feel like Chaos Mom has just thrown the feral nerd into the cauldron of creation. He's in real deep psychic territory. He's making his way through those waters, and he's kind of getting tumbled in the surf of that. He's going through a refining process. I think he got thrown in. He wasn't really willing to go all the way in, but it's sort of like he poked around in particular territory so long that it's like she had to catch him up and throw him in. It's like, if you're going to be wandering in this territory, then you need to go through this transformation. So he may feel like a little out of his depth right now. It might make him nervous. And at the same time, I feel like the feral nerd is also like, it turns him on at the same time. It's like the feral nerd knows that there's potential there. And yet I do feel like he's been a pain in the feral mom's. Ooh, the feral mom. Maybe they're a little bit alike, you know. Maybe they have something to teach each other, you know. Maybe there's more wildness for her to discover through the feral nerd. Maybe he has his own tricks up his sleeve. Maybe she feels like he's pulled some tricks with her. Okay, so maybe they're mirroring to each other a little bit here. That's interesting. Okay, well, what is the ally of Chaos Mom? What's on her side? Who's working with Chaos Mom? What gives her her strength? What gives her her power? What gives her her inner authority? Oh my God. Well, better the devil you know, that big sexy Satan. Apparently, I mean, they're kind of two of a kind. Look at that. Look at that. They are kind of two of a kind. I feel like this is these two, you know. There's an outer presentation, and these two have danced together many a time to see through illusion, to see through deception, to see the true nature of who they are. I also feel like these two kind of buck the norms, like they play with that line between what's acceptable and what's considered taboo. I think they've also gone to some really dark places before. These two could have been intimately connected with one another at one time. They could be intimately connected with one another now. These two could have also been in some kind of battle royale before on the ether. Like maybe there's been a little wizardry that's been thrown around here kind of back and forth. Maybe there's an old score that's being settled. Maybe it's a battle of wits. Maybe it's a battle of skill. And maybe, just maybe, in a way, they're kind of tempering each other. It's kind of interesting. They're tempering each other through this sort of play. It almost feels like play, you know what I mean? There's connection there. It seems like they're completely opposite, like we couldn't be more different from each other, but actually they're pretty similar in nature. And maybe perhaps they're one and the same. And maybe that's what it's about. Oh, that's very interesting. I almost feel like Chaos Mom is helping the feral nerd access the wild feminine aspect of themselves. And the feral nerd is helping Chaos Mom access the Lord of the Hunt, you know? He of the wild wood, like stirring up more of the masculine aspect. It's like there is like this counterbalancing force between the two, and also between this sort of back and forth. What seems oppositional actually helps them both find the middle and find a connecting point within themselves. It's like they each mirror to each other a strength that the other is lacking, and together they're finding the way through. So this is very fascinating. Ooh, it's very fascinating. But there's some kind of deception, there's some kind of illusion that they're shattering for each other here in whatever is going on between them. Oh, this is good. This is juicy. 21:22 on the clock. Okay, so I feel like whatever's been going on between the two of them in this saga, it's recently come to a state of completion. Something was completed successfully. And because it was completed successfully, I feel like there's almost this nod, you know? There's this recognition like, okay, I see you. I see you. You hold power too. It's not about us besting each other. But how do we navigate this? How do we bring what we both work with together in such a way where it can be really balanced? And it also can be balancing polarities of shadow and light. Where is the point where these two converge, where they merge? And there might be something about the outer presentation of their paths that looks very different. For example, one of them may look like they come more from the light, and the other looks like they work more from the shadow. And yet within one another's chosen paths of expression, because it's all the same path at the end of the day, there's still this point of convergence. And I feel like that's what they're sort of sensing and feeling out here, finding their way through. That is the lay of the land, okay? I feel like this dynamic between the two of them, it's like heaven or hell, you know? It's heaven or hell. How do you bring heaven back onto terra firma here? And there's something about also that definition of hell. The archaic definition of hell is not a fiery place of brimstone and suffering. It actually just means burial ground. It means to be laid to rest in the earth. Truly, truly, do some research on it if you don't believe me. That is the true meaning of the word hell. And so there's something about that too. Like there is a particular chapter in this saga between these two that has been laid to rest. And that's the lay of the land right now. So I feel like both of them are recognizing something here, that the connection, though there's been extreme challenge between the two, it's also tempered both of them. It's almost like the connection itself is a bit of a master maker. The connection taught both of them quite a bit, reflected the light to one and the shadow to other. And this brought about a state of inner equilibrium where they arrived at the center balancing point between the two extremes, which is really what it's all about when it comes to the art of alchemy here. That's the lay of the land. Right now, they're in this place of sort of like, okay, I see you. I see you. I get it. And at the same time, they're holding their ground, you know? It feels like they're both in this place of having the activation of self-knowledge from taking a bite of the forbidden fruit. And at the same time, they're weighing out their next move. That's what it feels like. They're weighing out their next move. Okay, well, what's Chaos Mom's beef here? What is Chaos Mom's beef? I also think Chaos Mom really gained some empowerment through seeing through a deception, seeing through a facade. It almost makes me feel too like perhaps the feral nerd has this outer presentation of like big, bad, sexy Satan, and yet she's seen through that veneer. She's seen a different side, what that hides, what's behind that, right? And I think that gave her a certain insight. Likewise, though, I mean, I think also, you know, there's like that mutual point of understanding. They've both seen what's behind the outer presentation here, okay? I want to know what kind of like the bone of contention is, though, or the irritation, the axe to grind that Chaos Mom has here in this situation, though. What is the meat of the matter? What is the meat of the matter for Chaos Mom here? Almost, did it turn over? It's like oh, it did. Something turned over, but it's hidden, okay? This is what's concealed, what's not seen. The meat of the matter is Chaos Mom feels a little PO'd about something that was disrupted in what she was creating. She set something in motion. She wanted to transform her world. And this character got into the mix and really dismantled a lot of what she was putting in place. And that's what she's pissed off about. The fact that she has to kind of go about everything now in a backwards sort of way. Something that she already had set in motion. It may have rocked the stability of something that she had been building here. It looks like something that she was in the process of pulling out of the quantum field and rooting in material reality. And yet I feel like she's still at it. She's still at it. She just had to go more underground. She had to go about it in a different way, through different means. She's also had to really be more economical with her moves than she would desire, because there is a sense of like having somebody or others perhaps too. I'm kind of getting others vibes on that. Too focused on what she's invested in creating here. I want to get some clarification on that. What's this about? Yeah. 7 of Clubs in the shadow. She's felt like she's kind of been doing her own thing, and she has others sort of challenging what she's building for herself here. What she's creating for herself. She's dealt with a lot of opposition. She may even feel like this character pulled in a lot of people into what she feels was something between the two of them to sort out. And also may have presented what is an unfair fight. Almost like getting people to team up with the feral nerd to go against Chaos Mom. But see, she's still standing. That's what I see here. Chaos Mom's still holding her power. She made it through some pretty wild territory there. And I noticed Chaos Mom here. It's kind of interesting. Look at her mouth. She's got like some sharp chompers there. This is a case where her bite is worse than her bark. Almost like when she goes quiet, when she goes underground, when you don't know what she's up to, that's when this group of people get a little bit nervous because they know she's going to do something here. So I think that's why people are kind of keeping an eye on her, because they feel the destabilization, because she's moving differently than she had before. I mean, before she used to be all out there with it, but now she's sort of not showing her hand. I want to know about this though. Tell me about this group of people. Tell me about this group of people that's been coming at Chaos Mom. I feel with the 7 of Clubs coming up in the shadow like that, these are people that have probably been throwing work at Chaos Mom, throwing a wrench in the works. Yeah, top of the deck here, discover, learn, and play. They tried to shake Chaos Mom's table here. They tried to shake her stability too. Yeah, there's something here about maybe trying to affect Chaos Mom's security. They may have been pocket watching her, keeping too much of an eye on what she's been building, what she's been investing in. Particular Joker here, viewing it almost as a game, viewing it almost as sport. Tell me more about these characters that are trying to play this game with Chaos Mom. I'm hearing that song, and I think it has meaning. I'll make sure to put a link to the song in the comments. Sharp teeth, pretty teeth, pretty, pretty sharp teeth, all in a row. Talks about facing off with the devil and telling the devil to go to hell. Yeah, this is what it is. 7 of Diamonds in the shadow. This group of people have been really relentless trying to shake. I heard shake Chaos Mom's tree. Shake Chaos Mom's tree. Trying to create some kind of instability. Trying to rock Chaos Mom's root. Yep. Absolutely. Trying to turn the fantasy into a nightmare, you know? And it comes in with 17, also trying to cut Chaos Mom off at the pass on the way to her star, the fulfillment of her destiny. And maybe even utilizing people with the Ace of Hearts coming up in the shadow there. I mean, this totals 18, so something that was concealed under the light of the moon. Certainly has a bit of an occult influence here, shadowy work. I feel like there's been a lot of manipulation here, but I also feel like they've been using people that are close to Chaos Mom to try to get gain access to information. That may be why Chaos Mom went more underground. I don't think she is unaware of this at all. I mean, come on. Chaos Mom. She knows how to navigate territory like this. You know? On the scenic route to the North Node, she's going to cause a scene. She is the scene. She is the attraction, you know. She knows that. She's felt the eyes on her. And she knows that it's a group of people who are, you know, occultists, people who like to maybe even target people like this. They've been throwing work around, absolutely. Number 8 is significant. This could be something that's gone on many cycles in the past. Trying to target a King of Spades in the light. All right. So coming through as a, I see. Trying to rock the mental stability of Chaos Mom. To have her kind of like acting out of pocket. Make her look like she doesn't have things on lock. Make her look like she's out of control. But see, they didn't know that Chaos Mom already has the ability to act from that more masculine sense of inner authority and knows how to hold it together. I mean, the energy is coming out in the light. Air sign energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here. But I feel like they tried to use somebody close to Chaos Mom to sort of squeeze them for inside information under the guise of being friendly associations. And look at that. It was absolute betrayal. Could have been a water sign energy connected to this. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Okay. And we got the King of Clubs here too, coming up in the light. All right. So it's sort of like, could have been fire sign energy as well. It came in deceptively though. This could be somebody who has strong water, fire in their chart, or these could be some of the characters involved in this situation. I feel like the King of Clubs sent somebody Chaos Mom's way that they were familiar with in place of them. And the whole motivation behind it was to pull a little dirty pool. It's like balderdash here. Somebody was totally bullshitting in this situation. But I feel like Chaos Mom saw through it and she moved away from this energy quite decisively too. She like cut it off with a quickness. Six of Hearts coming up in the light here. And with this, it's kind of the rub because it's coming in with the energy of 12 here, double sixes. So strong Gemini energy here, also strong energy of having to make a real decisive choice, having to sort of cut off the emotions, act from a place of self-knowledge, act from a place of really using the intellect, keeping on an even keel. And this is also something that's been a bit of a karmic loop, okay? This has gone on many, many times before. Many times before. And something's being resolved here. I feel like Chaos Mom moved away from this energy successfully. Cut it off. Saw it for the deceptive influence it was. Didn't take the bait. And because of that is securing the energy of the Empress here. Securing the energy of the Empress here. Now, it's interesting. There could be a little tricky energy connected to this too. The King of Clubs could have thought that this mutual association that was friendly with Chaos Mom was somebody that was working on their behalf, and they may not know that there was a little deceptiveness in what they told that they would fulfill for this King of Clubs and the like. All I know is there's deceptive influence here in how somebody moved. And how somebody moved to try to gain access to information, maybe even to create some kind of distance or separation through too. But I do feel like Chaos Mom saw through this, okay? Very, very interesting energy there. Okay, I had to look into that more deeply. Definitely it's closed cycle on that. The wheel is turned. There's been transformation. And now I feel where there was a lot of manipulation, a lot of work, a lot of pressure. Feels like they worked with a lot of pressure, trying to overwhelm, trying to overburden the Chaos Mom. This energy is looping around. It's looping around. Judgment on that, you see. What goes up must come down. Where there's shadow, there's also light. And vice versa. And so wherever the sneakiness came into the frame, this is now having to be addressed with. And we look at 20 with that 7, okay? And that breaks down to 9. So this is south node. Like something's going south here as Chaos Mom is navigating her way north. She's got alignment here and she's also in her power. I see that. But there's something here, there's like some kind of memo coming through that has this group sort of pumping the brakes on their chariot moving forward. And they may not get a choice about that. They may not get a choice about that. Behind that, King of Hearts, water sign energy. Could be blocks too. Blocks were put in place to try to prevent some kind of meeting of hearts. Okay. All right, that's pretty clear about what the beef of the matter is, all right? Let's see what consequences right on the split. Look at that. Meddling influence. Here she shows that good old Madam Rufflebonnet thought she could gain access to the secret information, get the key that would open the door to those secrets, secret knowledge. And the secret knowledge can just be like, well, what are you up to now? What are you working on, Chaos Mom? What's your next step? But was cut off at the pass, was not able to gain access there because of some decisive action taken by Chaos Mom. All right. All right. Okay. Any consequences that Chaos Mom has to deal with as a result of the move she made? Past actions that she took? What is the road work for Chaos Mom here? Moving forward from this point in time, because it does look like some kind of judgment was called in this situation. Something was effectively brought to a close here. So let's see what's coming through in relation to this. Basis of the matter. Well, I mean, I do feel like a piece of this picture was seen, right? And in seeing a piece of this picture, like there was something that sort of spoiled the whole pie. You know what I mean? There's something that she saw that she can't unsee. All right. Give me more details about this. To me, I can't help it just because of everything that has been going on a macrocosmic level. She may have really seen it because it gives me like Pizzagate vibes, okay? So she may have seen that this group of people was attached to something really corrupt. And once she saw that, she was like, I gotta be out. Judgment with the saxophone fetus here. Yeah, she could have seen something that really marred her impression of certain people. She may have recognized they were attached to something really corrupt. She may have been a whistleblower too. That may have been what got this group of people against her. She called out some kind of corruption. She drew attention to it. And ever since, they've been trying to maybe discredit her through trying to make her seem unstable or like she doesn't have full agency over her faculties, something like this. But I feel like it really backfired. Like this tactic did not work. It didn't work because see, look, there's that chaos energy right there. She was able to root something that really crowned her with the truth of who she is. It actually gave illumination to the sight that she holds. She put her pain behind her. She rose above the deception. She actually may have been exiled too. She may have been cut off. Look, because look at, there it is again. She saw what these people were connected to. She saw that there was something corrupt there. And so she knew she had to transform this situation. She gave these characters a flush, man. And she also told them to F off, man. She wasn't conflicted at all. There may have been a time when she was trying to sort of decipher, are they this or that? Can I trust them or not? It may have swung her from side to side for a bit while she was trying to figure it out. Can I trust these people here? Because my heart wants to believe one thing, but my mind is telling me something else. And she was able to find the middle point that gave her clear vision of what was going on here. And then she was able to transmute that energy. You see? Look. This devil has wings. This devil has talents of the owl, magic, deception. She saw through it. She transmuted it. You see how the wings changed to angel wings here. But she didn't lose the magic. She didn't lose the insight. It gives big, like, Inanna vibes, you know? There's something she transmuted here. But I do feel like it was through seeing something she would have rather not seen about what these people are connected to. And from there, she called it quits. She called it quits. So she's really holding her ground here. She's got a lot of truths. She may have a lot of evidence she's gathered too. She may have knowledge that she needs to really hold her ground here and make sure that she doesn't allow, you know, access to certain characters in this situation. She's definitely acting out of this like first house kind of Aries energy, this place of inner authority, knowing what needs to come to an end. What needs to come to an end. Also, there's something in her cutting this off that does give her like this rebirth energy. It's like she's on the rising phase after going through a real difficult tussle. I think it was painful. I think there was a lot of pain connected to this experience, but something really different is getting rooted here now. Okay. So her consequence was that she had to see a real ugly truth. That's what it looks like. And she had to rise above deception, and she had to trust her own inner authority to make a judgment call here. But I think it was painful. I think there was something that was really lost along the way in relation to this. Okay, what does the power chaos mom gain through self-mastery? Look at this. She was able to take the wisdom of the past forward with her, and now she's moving into greater expansion. She's also not in a place of being burdened. She may have been dealing with very kind of like reptilian sort of energies that were trying to hitch a ride with her as she moved into this expansion, you know, these very greedy sort of energies that maybe even were trying to do a little bit of energy harvesting here. These energies may have recently even tried to hitchhike, you know, on her, it's coming through as on her current here. Interesting. They tried though. They tried to gain access to that knowledge. They tried to take a bite of the forbidden fruit, but do you see what's happening now? It's almost like it's affecting them in a parasitic way. It's blocking their creative channels here. Very interesting. So, I mean, she's effectively holding the line here. That's what I see. She's very aware of her truth. She's very decisive. She knows what to cut off. She's not subject to temptation. Like, she sees something very clear. She's really like evoking that ram kind of energy pretty strongly. Okay. Right. More details here. More details here. And I do feel like she is moving forward here. And what she's taking forward with her is all of the knowledge she gained through this experience, all of the wisdom. And she's not moving forward with a sense of heaviness here. There's like a lightness of being. I also feel like she was really challenged to expand her mode of operation. Like there's something here where she now has a guide to the galaxy. She now has a guide to the quantum field. She had to sort of stretch beyond her usual mode of operation. And this has actually moved her into more of a kind of playful territory too. Wow, look at that. And look, it's because of this. She cut off the complication. She made a decision, crowned by her knowledge and wisdom of the past. She wasn't going to be docile. She cut off the chains that were limiting her, holding her back, and she's got that perspective of the eagle that can fly higher, pan out, and see what was really at root here. And that's the strength to have, man. So, yeah. She did not have any more spoons for this. She's not loyal to this anymore. She's not loyal to a particular journey. She called it quits on a particular journey. She brought something to a close. So it looks like some clear-cut decision has been made here by Chaos Mom. And that's what's allowing her to birth something new into reality. Okay, so what's at stake for Chaos Mom and those that are sharing the road with her? What's at stake for her now as she moves forward on this campaign? Bottom of the deck. Just making sure to keep an eye on the meaningless garbage. Don't get distracted by, you know, anything that's sort of trying to draw her attention into old kind of spaces, places, things that she already bagged up and tossed aside here. She needs to be vigilant with that, okay? That's important. Don't get caught up in the meaningless garbage. Bag it up, toss it out, and call it done and dusted. That's really important. That's foundational here. Also, I do feel like, you know, spirit of raccoon medicine is very much about the desire to tend to others too, you know, take care of others too. So I think she's also trying to kind of help protect others from getting caught up in meaningless garbage there. In particular, those who don't have any effing clue, you know, and maybe are just sort of shadow boxing and they're doing their best to navigate a situation, but they don't understand that, you know, kind of what they're maybe fighting against is just a waste of breath, you know. Somebody here comes off really fierce in the way they communicate. They like to put a lot of heat on their words. They're very argumentative. They yell a lot. They flex a lot. They try to work with powers of intimidation. But this individual doesn't have any effing clue. They don't. And so I feel like she's really just trying to let people know not to get caught up in the dramatics, to just really stay centered in their own focus here and know when they shouldn't, you know, get roped into what's really just meaningless garbage. Bag it up, toss it aside, and move forward free and clear. Don't drag that stuff behind you. So I feel like she's trying to support others and letting go of their baggage so they can come along with her, you know, that they're not held back in this sort of pointless back and forth, trying to match, you know, energies with others who want to stay in this place of gridlock that's caused by some kind of conflict here, okay? Some kind of conflict. All right, what's at stake for what Chaos Mom is trying to root in her reality right now, the world she wants to create? What's at stake? What's at stake for Chaos Mom here? What she's trying to root in reality. Okay, crossing energy. I mean, it's coming in reverse, okay? The Queen of Holes. She's just got to make sure that she holds this Queen of Holes at bay, because I feel like whoever this Queen of Holes is, all right, this is somebody that's been throwing a lot of obstacles, challenges, a lot this Chaos Mom's way. This woman could be really hungry for Chaos Mom's energy, trying to siphon her energy, trying to gain sight into the mysteries, wants to gain access, feels like they can work with persuasion. Oh, I'm such a good person, you know. It does have that like Madame Rufflebonnet energy, presenting yourself as one thing when actually you're doing something really shady behind the scenes and you're putting this false face forward here. I mean, there's so many holes in this story that this Queen of Holes is selling here. She would like to block, you know. She would like to block whatever is trying to get rooted here by Chaos Mom. You just need to remember, where you shut a door, keep it shut. I think that's really important for the Chaos Mom in this story here, to really have this transformation rooted that you obviously have worked hard for, okay? Because something has been transmuted here. I see it very strongly, okay? Well, what's the cookie? What's the sweet reward for the Chaos Mom if she keeps, you know, she keeps herself focused and she doesn't lose the plot right now? Because I think that's really important. She made some very firm judgment calls here. I mean, look at this. I mean, there's all kinds of rewards on offer. It's a bit of a grab bag here for Chaos Mom. There's just about anything she can pull off. I do feel like she lifted something that was somewhat of a pox from her. She freed herself from something. She got that elevation. It's her ball now. She doesn't want to play with these characters. I mean, she did cut something off. I feel like she's got a lot of protection for her harvest. I feel like her roots are secure. Like she's got a lot of ancestral energy that backs her. She's strong. She's got longevity for the road ahead. She knows how to move against the current. She knows how to have resilience. I think that's the strength of Chaos Mom. She also knows how to play with it too. I feel like there's a little bit of her that doesn't take anything too seriously, and that's an advantage, you know? She may be quite theatrical too. She may like to try different characters on for size. She may be a little bit of a shapeshifter, and I think that works to her advantage. But something's about to really pay off for Chaos Mom here. She is accessing some kind of treasure. Something's paying off. And I do feel like she's coming together with somebody here who understands her, gets how she rolls. There's like a partnering energy coming in here, some kind of alliance coming in, all right? But it has everything to do with her really like using her brain, like knowing when to put head over heart. There's really this point of convergence too, right? You can put your head over your heart without losing your heart. It's possible. Doesn't mean you're cold just because you're making a choice that's more informed by your intellect and your understanding, logical understanding of a situation. Sometimes you do have to go to that place. You have to know when you have to respect the wisdom of what you've already learned here. I think she's been able to demask certain characters here. And because of that, it's like there's so much coming into view here. I feel like there's a little bit of a treasure hunt opening up here for Chaos Mom. It's just really important not to get caught up in meaningless garbage because there is somebody here who's really relentless. I feel like it's somebody that's attached to this King of Clubs. Familiar with both. It's a person in common. This person has strong water and fire in their chart. Okay? Or that's how they work their particular brand of magic or manipulation, all right? They use the power of the emotional connection that they have with somebody as the way they manipulate. That's how they find an end, okay? But there's something that's already seen through here. So I think that this treasure maybe the Chaos Mom is just inches from, right? Keep up that resilient effort here, Chaos Mom. It's kind of funny because it's almost like the opposition made you really fit to be able to, you know, keep at something, you know, not giving up when you're so close to striking that gold. That's what I really feel. And that gold is the alchemization of all of these kind of like heavy latent energies that have been really rooting this vision that Chaos Mom has for the world as she sees it, the world she wants to create for herself moving forward. And something is getting really solidified here. So let's keep Chaos Mom on that track. What is the target that Chaos Mom should stay focused on at this time in order to hit the mark? What is the target that Chaos Mom should stay focused on at this time? Bottom of the deck, don't get caught slipping for a moment of instant gratification, okay? Don't take in this sort of like guise of sweetness, like somebody may be trying to sweeten you up. Somebody may be working with like a sweetening jar. They may be trying to like sweeten you up, you know? Really, if you take the bait, you're going to feel the sting. I feel like that. This is the swarm, man. This is the swarm as you're about to really get to your objective here. So stay focused. Don't take the bait. because I feel like you already hold something here. You already hold some sweetness. And that is what is drawing in this opposition. There's this recognition that, you know, you may appear that you're here and now, but you have an understanding that's actually much older than your current age. It's like you got a future-oriented perspective here. And I think this is like kind of that interdimensional awareness that comes through you learning how to navigate the galaxy. You know, you've been out playing around on the quantum field here. You got access to certain secrets. You peered into a mystery. So your understanding is almost coming from hindsight. You know, they always say that hindsight's 20/20, but you've already got that future vision rooted right here and now. And that's what works out to your benefit. So don't be taken in by somebody who's really coming in and being sticky sweet. I think you'll see through it, man. You just need to not get taken in by flattery, meaningless garbage. Somebody who's trying to sweeten the pot, and it was 1:22 on the clock with that. You see, you got some alignment coming in for you. This is the energy of the Magician and High Priestess teaming efforts. It creates the fertility of the Empress. But with that 22 there, the Emperor's there too. There's this empowerment there. So it's like something is already secured. Something's already in the bag. And all these other options, like all these other diversions, that's all they are. You already got something in the bag. That's what you need to remember. And there is something that's being partnered on here with somebody who's like really like an equal partner. There's a give and take here. There's leading and following, and there's an exchange of that energy. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, don't lose the plot now. Stay focused on what you know, what you see that others don't see. Because I do feel like you already see the future. You know, you already know how something would go if you opened up to it. And you're not wrong about that. So don't waste time. Don't waste time, because otherwise you could like look back when you are in that future and go, man, I spilled the secrets and I wasted it on those who would abuse it, use it in a corrupt way. In a corrupt way. Okay. Cut the deck to cap it off. Final message for Chaos Mom. Yep, keep trusting your instincts here. You know what's up. You have that self-knowledge. You're already in a place of transformation. So keep letting it be like water off a duck's back, because see, you're not done for here. You actually just rose from out of the crypt. I feel like you went through something that was like the ending of an old chapter, the ending of an old life, the ending of an old identity. And now you're just teeming with all this creative energy and fertility, and you're heading into your rebirth cycle. So don't look back now. Godspeed.